Baliw,
Wow.
technical pause yung naka
Nakalagay. 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗧𝙧𝙖𝙧. Ayun na. Share ko na to, boy.
Elevate, evolve, excel.
Legendary! First blood.
Your divine retribution is at hand!
The hopefuls to be immortalized in Gear City begins now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ascend Cybersynth League of Legends Semifinals. And this is 𝙑𝙧𝙖𝙡𝙀𝙧 going to be bringing you the action for today, joined by Salvatore.
Thank you, Feeder. It is a pleasure for tonight's entertainment para sa inyo, TUPNs and gaming enthusiasts all over the Philippines. Tonight is the night where we witness the pride of Manila versus Visayas battle out in a fight fest of an event. 𝙑𝙤𝙧𝙖 Esports versus Archons. It's going to be a hectic night for all of us, Feeder.
Indeed, I can feel the excitement coming from not just me, but I'm sure our audience members as well is as excited as we are because these two teams are not to be trifled with.
Indeed. And sobrang ito yung isa sa mga part ng laro na sobrang stack talaga with 𝙑𝙑 and Archons already having tournament experiences of their own. But before we do head on to the main event, no, let us give thanks to the ones that made Ascend Cybersynth possible, Feeder. And that's none other than 𝗬𝗑𝗫𝗄.
Of course, 𝗬𝗑𝗫𝗄, the premier organization from the Technological University of the Philippines, Manila, that promotes campus esports and brings out the spirit of gaming in you. To be notified with Gear Spectrum, head over to facebook.com/𝗬𝗑𝗫𝗄 and be updated with the upcoming merch such as the beloved GHX lanyard and jersey, community events such as Movie Light and Gear Talks, tournaments like Gear Games and Ascend, and much more. Create your own highlights and moments to your school year with 𝗬𝗑𝗫𝗄. #GearOn.
And what about AcadArena, the home of the Filipino campus esports? AcadArena is here to give you the school spirit to jumpstart your journey, who is passionate about gaming and the esports scene. Don't miss out on the opportunity to get your hands on the Globe X AcadArena Makerpreneur Grant and the UniPin X AA Level Up Grant, winning up to 100,000 pesos worth of academics. Grab by visiting app.acadarena.com/scholarships. #NotJustPlay.
Also, special thanks to the Moonton student leaders. MSL, bringing the land of dawn to your campus is better than ever. Be a leader now and represent your university and take over by heading to facebook.com/MSL-Philippines for inquiries, updates, and news with everything you need to know about MSL. Stand for your empire and break the limits with Moonton student leaders.
How about Garena, Southeast Asian's titan for gaming? Dominate the land and create your legacy with Garena.
Of course, special thanks to Motivo. Whip out tech with style by carrying all the amazing Motivo H102 power bank with LED digital display powered by its 10,000 mAh battery capacity. They take pride with all sorts of tech accessories that will keep you going, such as earphones, data cables, and watches. For more, visit www.motivo.shop and pick yours now.
And who could forget SPAC and USG? 𝗬𝗑𝗫𝗄 extends its gratitude to the university, student government, and SPAC for helping this tournament come to life. Because of them, the ride to Gear City is in full effect, and we are now able to witness TUP Manila's greatest competitors in the field of esports. Be alerted with updates and news regarding our beloved school by going to facebook.com/TUPManilaUSG. Once again, thank you SPAC and USG for helping Ascend Cybersynth come to life.
Thank you again to Bradley's group of companies for also sponsoring this event. FGC is a Philippine-based master franchise collection established in 2014. Currently, they have 9 brands with over 250 restaurants and cafe branches. You may know them as they are the minds behind the best-tasting beverages with Macau Imperial Tea and the delicious Liang Crispy Rolls. Thank you, Fredleys, for sponsoring Ascend Cybersynth.
And who could forget the most stylish university trends? Elevate your style with their exclusive merchandise, including their trendy t-shirt and 2-in-1 reversible buy-in lanyard. Plus, when you make a purchase, snag a free limited edition vinyl sticker. Available exclusively from University Trends. Stay in the loop and catch all the latest updates by following their official Facebook page, facebook.com/campustrends. And don't miss out on the hottest deals and shop with ease on their Shopee store, shopee.ph/universitytrendsph. With University Trends, we never go out of style.
Infinix Mobile. Gear up and upgrade to perfection by purchasing the new Infinix 030 by Infinix Mobile. Catch your life in its finest details with its advanced camera system of 50 megapixels, 2K FPS front vlogging camera, stunning visuals with its 3D curved AMOLED display with 120 Hz refresh rate, and experience seamless performance with its up to 16 gigabytes extended RAM. Stay in touch with the newest and biggest phones by following the Infinix Mobile FB page. That's facebook.com/InfinixPhilippines, and purchase phones through their Shopee link, shopee.ph/Infinix official store, and in every nationwide store available.
And last but not the least, TUP Gears partnership that has been going on for years now, UniPin. Top up now using the leading service provider for gamers. UniPin with the holiday season rolling, time to get into gear and cash in on those in-game currencies. And let's enjoy the season of UniPin. Visit facebook.com/UniPin Philippines for more details. Thank you so much, UniPin, for sponsoring this year's Ascend Cyber Sale. What a very stacked sponsorship lineups for this year's Ascend feeder. Pero mas titignan natin ang pinaka-stock na labanan ngayon between Ronaldo 𝙑𝙤𝙧𝙤𝙪 and Archons. Let's talk about the deals, because one of these teams will be reaching the grand finals at malalaman natin yan hindi sa ibang araw, ngayong gabi lang. Ngayong gabi lang na yun, pre. So, let's talk about a bit of Ronaldo 𝙑𝙧𝙧𝙪, no? So, their golden boy, their star player, the very prominent challenger player from the League of Legends PH. That's none other than 𝙑𝙬. 𝙑𝙬 has been competing for more or less 3 years now in the Ascent scene, but has never been able to snag an Ascent Championship title. Kaya napakalaki para sa kanya tong tournament na to. And he is backed up with the most stacked lineup in this year's Ascent. Paano ba naman? There's like a total of four star caliber players playing around the roster of 𝙑𝙬, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Their gameplay speaks for itself, and I wonder what do they have in their bag sa parating na laban na to, feeder?
Well, I'd like to inform you that Archons are not your ordinary team as well, because they have two grandmaster players, that being 𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Trample. And of course, not only that, meron din silang highly stacked team na bot lane, dahil grandmaster and master duo ang kanilang bot lane na si 𝗏𝗏𝗏 and Lower Your Ego. So mag-iingat talaga ang Ronaldo 𝙑𝙧𝙧 Esports sa kanilang bot lane, dahil pag in-underestimate nila ang Archon Esports, nako po, mahirap na labanan yan.
And that's very interesting to see, na somehow Archons Esports have now crawled their way back into the playoff scene after failing to snag the championship title on 2021's version of Ascend, wherein ang kalaban din nila is Manila Campus, and now this is now their chance to once again appear on the final stage, na kung saan may nag-aabang na dalawang Manila Campus din papuntang grand finals. We could possibly see a deja vu, or finally 𝙑𝙬 finishing his main protagonist ng anime storyline. Hindi pa siya nananalo ever since ng Ascent, and this is now finally his year. Hopefully for that man. So I guess I could say good luck to both teams, no? And I'm really excited for these two teams because of their hyper-aggressive playstyle, and it complements the current meta in this iteration of League of Legends, feeder.
Sim ka dyan, par, dahil nga naman ang both teams na yan ay may anime arc na nangyayari ngayon. Sino kaya sa kanila ang magwawagi at magpupunta sa finals this match? Malalaman namin shortly ang kanilang malupit na labanan.
Might as well malaman na natin nga ba kung sino nga ba ang crowd favorites. Let your comments be heard in the stream by going to the comment section, at salamat na rin sa pakabisita ng stream. Like and share for us to be indulged in such entertainment inside of the Summoner's Rift. Please comment your favorite team. Is it going to be Ronaldo 𝙑𝙧𝙧𝙪 Esports, or is it Archons Esports? Grabe talaga, pre, yung innovation ng mga pangalan natin dito sa loob ng tournament na to. I'm pretty sure marami pa tayong makikitang mga team names na gantong mag-innovate. Grabe nga naman talaga ang tikas at galing ng isang TUP yan. And so far, the one thing that we have been sure about is yung, well, like I said, it's the star-studded semifinals matchup, no? And also, dun sa may lower bracket din, it's Balagbag Esports versus Players with Decisiveness. And we will determine that winner on an off-stream match. But either way, it is still entertaining between those two teams. Pero kung titignan naman natin si Ronaldo at si Archons Esports, their playstyle, like I said, meta today, with so many bruisers that are open and so many supports that are really, really liking to go engage instead of util. And now we have now entered the picks and bans. Archons targeting the mid laner so far. They really want to see 𝙑𝙬 get penalized for picking his pocket picks. And ngayon akali yung pinaban nila. So Ronaldo 𝙑𝙧𝙧𝙪 could go in for an Aatrox or Jarvan ban. Ay binanaan nila yung Jarvan dito. So now the flexibility has now died out all over the board. Archons Esports is still targeting 𝙑𝙬.
Akasante ban there by RJ Esports, possibly targeting Trample, which is the Grandmaster top laner on Archon's Esports.
So with all of this happening, the first phase of the ban has nothing been short of scary. Archon's Esports really want to target out Crony, pero ang hindi nila alam dito is nagko-control mage din yan si Crony. With this Orianna pick, they could possibly pick Gragas or even a Syndra in this one, possibly a Serat as well, para may range siya dito sa Orianna. So pwede nila gawin yun. They could possibly pick a bot lane and support in this one, go Saya and Rakan, or Saya and Alistar, or even Saya and Nautilus. Saya is open, and that is one of the ADCs that is supposed to be priored right now. And this Yone could go flexible with Crony, and Sean could be possibly swapping lanes depending on the matchup, because Sean can also play Yone in this situation. But up against Orianna, yes, may mga early trades na pwedeng manalong Orianna dito, but I do feel like the Yone could have the better DPS in those early trades. So now they could go for a jungler or even a top laner in this one. So is this Rel going to the jungle? The flexibility, like I'm telling you, Feeder, it's all over the board, man.
Indeed. Parang magkakaroon tayo ng T1 versus Weibo moment ngayon, no? Dahil pinik nga naman ng Archon's Esports ang Nocturne for jungle. So, pwede din magkaroon ng single out plays sa Nocturne Paranoia. At kukunin din nila ang Jax for the top lane. Nako, interesting laban to kasi Yone versus Jax. pwedeng ma-counter ni Jax ang paghahampas ni Yone. Pero titignan natin dahil when it comes to skill, anything is possible.
So, are they going for Malphite? I think Malphite is the key here, but they are lacking magic damage on that end. But now we have entered the second phase of the banning. Both ADCs and supports are open, but ang ginagawa kasi ng Ronaldo dito is they are putting in the mind games over to Archons. That's why they picked Rel. If this Rel is going into jungle and they went ahead and banned a jungler, that's an open slot for RJ Esports to innovate and try to mix up the possibilities of making this lineup more formidable with Alistar and Varus ban. So with some mix of a bruiser comp for Archon's Esports, so far they are indeed winning the draft because of global presence from the Nocturne and the Orianna. That's one of the two champions that have been on the high spectrum of win rates. Kasi maganda yung Paranoia Shockwave combo, and you have such a good ganking presence on those level 4 skirmishes, lalo na pagbuhay na yung Dragon with the early game of the Nocturne. When that lethal tempo goes fully stacked, you best believe that he has the strongest DPS on Archons whenever a fight begins. So Saya ban, I think an ADC should be warranted once again for Archons Esports. They could go and ban another ADC like a Kai'Sa, but no, they did ban Poppy. So mas gugustuhin na nila siguro mag-ban ng Bruiser kaysa sa ADC, because I think in this comp they could easily target out the backline.
Malakas ang team fight potential ng RJ Esports at parehas din sa Archon Esports dahil meron nga namang backline targeters na si Nocturne at ang ating Shockwave galing kay Orianna. At malakas din mag-front to si Jax. Yun nga lang, kailangan nyo muna mag-scale sa top. But RJ Esports will be picking the Saya bot lane. So let's see how it goes. Maybe Archons is gonna pick a Caitlyn, possibly a Jinx. Something that has range. Because, okay, they opted to pick a Renata and a Kalista. This is gonna be interesting. Hostile takeover, massive utility for the team, and RJ Esports is gonna pick Milio for the disengage. Actually a great pick because that's gonna cancel most of Archon's Esports CC. A well-timed Milio ult can make it or break it for RJ Esports.
So, ang pambawi talaga ng AP damage dito is with Amasuo and Yak. Their overall on-hit damage revolves on AP. That's going to be interesting to see. So now Crony is on a hyper-aggressive mid lane, and that is what the Orianna should be careful of. The Soul Unbound trades could be negated by the command protect, but I do think with the presence of Crony and his commanding sort of mid lane playstyle, there should be some security between the Nocturne and the Orianna to camp Crony as much as possible. Kasi hindi naman ganun ka-impactful yung Malphite sa early game. So camping a Malphite in the early is not as rewarding compared to ganking the enemy mid laner and the bot lane in this situation. Wala naman sigurong kill potential ng Malphite in the early game, and we are going to wait on that one, and you just have to put this aside. Napakahirap talaga ng sitwasyon na to. They picked Kalista on a Malphite top lane. That's gonna be hard. They don't have any source of true damage. They have kiting potential. So doon natin makikita yung limitation ng lineup na to. They pinilit nila yung Kalista and Renata, which on paper is good. But the mind games of Reynaldo 𝙑𝙑 to force a very DPS sort of heavy ADC with a Kalista, doon natin makikita kung saan sila mag-i-innovate. Are they innovating on builds, on items, on those fights that they will force? Are they going to burn out the Malphite in every single fight? Medyo mahirap eh. But this is a ticket all the way to being crazy for Archon's Esports. So for me, I have Reynaldo 𝙑𝙑 Esports to win this game number 1 on draft alone.
Well, for me, I think Archons do have a chance in winning. It all comes down to their positioning and their baiting potential, because if they bait an unstoppable force from Malphite, then he'll practically be useless. And if Kalista plays his cards right, he can just kite on day's end. And with the team being on full protection mode, because we do have an Orianna boosting the movement speed of our Kalista and Renata combo, I think they do have a fighting chance. What Reynaldo 𝙑𝙑 Esports needs to be careful of is that Nocturne ult, because if Nocturne gets the jump on their backline, that might be problematic.
There are really some limitations on the lineup of Archon's Esports. Just the amount of DPS that they could throw doesn't match with the lineup of Reynaldo 𝙑𝙑. You have a Malphite, and the overall theme of a Malphite is to just build armor and magic resist, and that is what he gets on his passive. So with this Jax and Kalista, dun tayo titingin ng overall DPS. Kung mamimelt pa talaga nila kagad yung Malphite, and the amount of peeling that this Malphite can do really is good for Reynaldo 𝙑𝙑. Just because of the Kai'Sa. She doesn't have that inherent escape after she blows supercharge, and when he is exposed, he needs to reposition. So doon papasok yung Malphite na yun. So there are a lot of flexibilities and corners that Reynaldo 𝙑𝙑 could go over, but I still really think that so far Archons has a fighting chance. Just do not force a mid to late game. Try to revolve around the objectives and then play around your comp, which is play for picks. Ang hirap eh. Ang hirap talaga makita na pwede nilang i-burst out kagad sa usapan yung Malphite. And we're going to see that narrative change in a moment.
Mag-iingat din talaga. Kailangan talaga nila ma-isolate at least one member ng Reynaldo 𝙑𝙑 Esports for Nocturne for that cleanup. Kasi kung mag-5v5 clash sila, I think Reynaldo Esports is gonna come out on top. So, kailangan ng Archon is -1 muna ang Reynaldo bago sila mag-push forward ng totoo para ma-wipe out ang Reynaldo Esports. Siguro, targetin muna nila ang Kai'Sa, main damage leader syempre, at 𝑌𝑛𝑒. Ayun yung pinaka-biggest damage leaders nila dun sa Reynaldo Esports.
Yeah, and now, the question is, saan magre-revolve yung playstyle ng Reynaldo 𝙑𝙑? Because they already have a commanding control from early up until the late game. You have a good scaling ADC and a mid laner with the 𝑌𝑛𝑒 and Kai'Sa respectively. So, on that end, makakita tayo talaga ng mga forced na fights because they really have that momentum and lineage in those early and crucial fights. You have the Dragon, you have the RH, and yun yung isa sa mga bagay na kailangan natin i-consider. You have Kai'Sa that has good wave clear, and so does the 𝑌𝑛𝑒. So their very rotation prowess really is something else. For Archons, yun din, nakikita mo rin, you have the Nocturne, you have the Orianna, you have the Jax. So their roaming potential could possibly give them some advantage just on the top side. medyo sa top side tayo magre-rely doon sa mga RH takes ng Archons, just because you have Nocturne and you have Jax, two duelists that could go all out. Just do not focus on the tanks, I guess, hanggat hindi pa nakakabuo ng Chain Vest or ng Bami Cinder yung Malphite. Pwede silang manguna ng Yone, pero that's the challenge. Yone is very mobile. You have their support Emilio. They could also force a roam with the Breath of Life. Marami silang pwede mitigate doon sa Breath of Life na yun. So, yes, this lineup is just warranted towards Reynaldo Asildo, but with the innovation and with some execution for Archons, baka pwede pa mabaliktad yung usapan na yun. So that's why this is getting entertaining. I don't know if this is Archons' lineup that they are just getting out of their pockets, or talagang pinag-isipan nila to with a formulated blueprint. So it's very interesting. I don't know where is this going to lead to. I just hope that Reynaldo Asildo just forced those fights really careful. And now we are going inside of Summoner's Rift. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now seeing the green in this game as RJE and Archons are now in game.
So makikita natin dito na fairly standard lang ang early game natin is nag-aabang sila for invades. Of course, both teams are wary of each other, and we see Rel, I think, going to be starting on her red side as Nocturne is on there as well. And I think pwedeng after mag-clear ng Nocturne, tingin ko i-gank niya ata agad yung bottom lane, possible. After full clear into gank, possibly getting the first blood, and we will be having a technical pause here for a moment.
Okay. So, with all of that happening, iba-iba kasi I know XSMR as a person that plays support, and his secondary role apparently begs to be jungle. So now that is very interesting because Amaso and XSMR could play bot lane in this one, but Pinoy TikTok is going to the side of support. So ibang-iba nga talaga yung innovation ng Reynaldo Asildo dito, no? So now you can see that this sort of flexibility is giving Archon so much to think about. They did not expect XSMR to play this one because nakita naman natin na si Reynaldo and Archons already faced on the play-ins, wherein Reynaldo Asildo took home the dub. That is why Archons Esports has scored 3-1 on the play-in. So meron ng bad blood kaagad tong tong dalawang teams na to, and it's all so poetic na maglalaban-laban sila ngayon dito sa semis.
Nga naman ba mahirap isipin ang mangyayari in the following moments because talagang very madaming pwedeng mangyari dahil nga naman ang Archon Esports at ang Reynaldo Asildo Esports is makikita natin mamaya ang kanilang iba't ibang placer at sinasabi mo na aggressive ang playstyle ni RJ Esports. But Archons is di pa natin nakikita talaga ang paano silang maglaro. So makikita nga natin yun after ang technical break natin na nangyayari ngayon.
Viewers are now already piling up. Shout out to all the viewers of Ascend Cybersynth. Meron na tayong 41 viewers dyan sa ating stream. Please like and share para masagana ang ating gabi. Ang Sabado ay pahinga pero walang-wala yan sa Ascend Cybersynth. Laban lang ng laban dito. And I really think that this is a very, very exciting ascent for all of us, pre. Last year, we didn't have League of Legends, but now, nakita na natin na League of Legends has come back to life, especially on the community side, no? And there are now dozens of events that have been piling up inside of the community of League of Legends, and isa ito sa mga nagpapanimula ng magandang momentum, no? And since last year, we have already thought that League of Legends is not that viable as a tournament. Pero ngayon, sobrang dami na. And one of those is Ascend Cybersynth League of Legends. It's now come back to life. And I am one of the witnesses sa pag-resurrect neto, Feeder.
Indeed. Ngayon, nandito na nga tayo sa Rift at yun, early trades are coming in from both teams as we see bottom lane being pushed up their lane. And
There are some pokes here that's happening on the bottom side, and that has a lot to be considered because Amasuo and Pinoy TikTok, they do have some good all-ins. Pag nakuha ni Amasuo yung 𝘃𝗃𝗵𝗀, maganda eh. Maganda yung all-in nila. And this is now the early struggle for Sean. There is going to be some good trades from Trample para hindi ganun makakilos si Sean. And that's okay. There shouldn't be a kill potential when you're playing Malphite. You should be scaling to get those armors, tapos tsaka makikipaglaban. If he does get Sunfire as his first item, baka may kill potential na dito si Sean. So XSMR does want to go for a gank, but because of the mobility of Face Rush, hindi niya makukuha yun. So XSMR is already piling up the momentum over to the mid side. He goes 3 camps, then goes mid. So kahit hindi na mag-clear si XSMR, he does have the engage potential. So he could possibly gank bottom side, and the 2 junglers are now hovering already, Feeder.
indeed, dito na nga si Nocturne at si Rel at baka magkakitaan na nga sila dahil mukhang magkakaroon ng labanan dito sa ating bottom side. As we see, there they go. Nagkakaroon na ng malaking clash dito sa bottom side as we see
Okay.
Archons going
XSMR
at
is
it.
now running away. 𝙑𝙑𝗪𝙣, pero Lower Your Ego goes in with the flash. But it's going to be turned around by the Pinoy TikTok. Supportal combat. First blood over to 𝗏𝗏𝗪𝗏 now running away. 𝙑𝙑𝗪𝗏 needs to be careful in this one. They do not have to force this fight. But that was a very interesting all-in by Archons. And I don't know if Lower Your Ego, I don't know if that was worth it. But either way, Rinaldo Asildo will be taking that any day.
Emilio did score the first blood. Would have been better if Kai'Sa took the kill, but kill is a kill, and that gold will be going to RJE.
So Archons are getting some value kahit dun sa mga ibang lanes, kahit hindi nila ata sila tumingin doon sa may bottom side. But with this meta, there are a lot of things that should be considered. And Trample scaling is different eh. You really need to have your bot in that lane in order to get a momentum over those objective fights. And that is just a start. So Lower Your Ego needs to go for a space. And I think we are having a disconnection notice over to our players, and that is really that is really unfortunate to see. So I think we'll be heading to a re-lobby shortly after. As just calm down, guys. Babalik tayo sa laro mayat paya din. And now, just kalmahan lang natin, guys. So yun. So far, we have already seen that the lineups have now been finalized, and I think that this is going to be a good fight. So how about you, Feeder? Any expectations leading into this fight?
I think natikman na nga ng Archons Esports ang Fury ng RJE. So ngayon mag-iingat na nga sila sa kanilang gagawin. Hindi na yung risky play yung ginawa nila kanina. Pinorse talaga nila yung ang gank doon sa bottom lane, no? Umabot pa sa torre. At nagkaroon nga ng kill from RJE. So, dahil parang pang-testing lang ng waters yun eh, kanina yung ginawa ng Archon Esports. Ngayon, okay, gets na namin to. Play safe na. At kailangan calculated na yung... Siyempre, di na lang ulit gagawin yun. Dahil nga naman, ayaw nilang maulit ang nangyari.
I think we're now back in the game. So, di tayo magkakaroon ng re-lobby, no? So, Archons and Reynaldo Asildo Esports will be continuing as the show must go on, apparently. So, di pa rin. So, we're having some bit of a technical issue talaga on our end. So, I think we should be calming ourselves down. Wala mo nang aalis, guys. And now, there are some stuffs that we need to settle before we do head on over to the game to ensure a smooth stream. Once again, I do apologize for the sudden disconnections of the game and as well as the frame drops. Do not worry, shortly after this game we will be fixing that in a clean matter. But for now, please bear with us. Don't worry, hindi to matagalan. Babalik din tayo sa smooth sailing Ascend Cybersynth 2023. So, Sean is on a dangerous spot. He needs to run, but he does have flash. Doesn't go for it. That is the solo kill potential of Trample. getting the kill onto Sean. So kahit medyo dihado sila sa may bandang bottom side, Trample is going to make up for it with the lack of security of the bottom side. So far, 1-for-1 ang ating score.
Nocturne will be invading red side jungle here, but he needs to be careful because Malphite is there going back to his lane, and Rel can turn, but Rel seems to be ganking mid lane now. But that didn't turn out the way she wanted.
Wala eh. Parang hindi rin makakapag-gank talaga si XSMR dito eh. Medyo mahirap. Kahit walang flash si Noy, pwede niyang i-dispel yung engage ni Crony tsaka ni XSMR gamit Shockwave. Tapos yun din yung challenge eh. Paano niya patatamaan yung Shockwave? So, with all of this, I really think that Trample should be the one try to get arrow. Palagi siya may prio eh. Tapos madali lang yun. And meanwhile, XSMR gets bursted out by 3 people, or call it a 4 if you think that 𝙑𝙑𝙪 had a contribution. But wow, what a misstep by XSMR. Now 𝙑𝙑𝙪 already roaming into the mid side. So Archons are just trading haymakers left and right in this one.
They can go for Dragon because Dragon is up, but XSMR has just respawned and coming onto the bottom lane, so they need to be careful because there's a Rel on their tail.
I know. And ayun siya, masyado na nga dito.
Ito na nga.
Si XSMR yun, nag-explash na nga, no? Pero masyado natin strike. Si Lower Your Ego. Here comes the follow-up from Motivo and Pinoy TikTok. And that is an elementary play by the trio of Pinoy TikTok, Amaso, and XSMR. Nice follow-up by the bot lane and Reynaldo Asildo. Once they saw Lower Your Ego, naging matalim ang kanilang pangil, lumaki ang dilat ng kanilang mata, and the dragon is now open. Trample and Sean once again battling out, and Sean doesn't have anything. He does have unstoppable force to escape, but that's going to be a solo kill once again by Trample. It's a struggle for Sean, and Trample is already taking over the kingdom.
Another technical pause here, but can we take a look at what just happened there on the bottom side? Hindi in-expect ng Archon Esports na pupuntahan talaga sila dahil si Rel ngayon namatay sa bottom side jungle. Ine-expect nila pumunta sa top yun at magpa-farm. Ngunit, dumiretso sa bottom lane. At yun, they caught Lower Your Ego off guard, securing the dragon as a result.
Usually in these cases talaga na medyo nagkakaroon ng alanganin yung mga util supports eh. I mean enchanter supports, because once they do get engaged by the initiators, it's really hard to dispel or disengage in a fight na wala ka ng handshake. Ginamit niya na yung fusion, ginamit niya na yung hextech fusion, ginamit niya na rin yung handshake, so wala siyang pantakas talaga. Makuha niya man yung shield, sobrang ganda ng DPS at yung burn factor ng 𝗏𝗏𝗪 tsaka ng 𝗖𝘀𝗵 nung dalawang bot lane. Now this is going to be interesting. So where is this going to lead to? So now we are back in the game. 3-kill lead for Archons, and that is solely because of Trample and a solo kill a while ago. So Reynaldo Asildo, despite them having a kill disadvantage, is just one that's not a huge issue. Bumabawi naman sila sa game style at sa nakukuha nilang objectives. They got Dragon, and RH will be spawning in a bit. So Reynaldo, I think they will be trying to get a prio on the mid lane and let XSMR go for a level 6 para may Magnet Storm na siya.
Tingin ko pa nagkaroon na ng ultimate yan, pa nagkaroon na ng level 6 yan si Sky, mag-iiba ng laro ng Archon Esports. Because nakikita lang natin, farm lang ng farm to si Sky at magkakaroon ng medyo maliit na skirmish sa mid lane at bottom, pero
okay,
wala namang masyadong mangyayari.
Wala eh. So grabe talaga feeder, no? Parang sa nakikita natin, si Reynaldo talaga yung nagpo-force ng laban, no? Ang nakikita lang ni Archons dito is sakaling mag-overstep si Reynaldo, tsaka lang sila mag-i-start ng laban. So that's a clash of two styles.
Oo nga eh. Maliban na lang kay Trample, which is actually trampling on Sean here, but in the other lanes, talagang parang cat and mouse game lang sila. When you give them an inch, they go for a mile. Ganyan yung ginagawa ng Reynaldo Esports eh. Pero nasa-survive naman ng ang Archons ang kanilang mga advances. Although we can see a trade here on the bottom lane at kailangan kasi kailangan kasi may mangyaring play dito ngayon sa Herald kasi ginagawa ngayon nila ang Herald at possible na dahil nga si Malphite is na wala pa siyang masyadong item, they can target that and Jax can push, tsaka na siya sasali pag mataba na siya sa team fights. I think ayun yung win con ng dito ng Archon Esports is go for the weaker lane. They can capitalize on that, they can push right on that and keep the other lanes distracted with the Nocturne ultimate. So, I think ayun yung magiging win con nila. Ano sa tingin mo, Salvatore?
I really think that the win con of Archon's Esports, they have to rely on the engage. They have hostile takeover, which is a huge turnaround for those team fights. Napakaganda ng DPS ni Crony tsaka ni Amaso. And when that hits on a priority target, like of course Amaso and Crony, yung nagpapalawan silang dalawa, that's going to be huge. Though they have Breath of Life, so that negates so many crowd control over to Archons. They could dispel a counter-strike, a paranoia, and hostile takeover with just a Breath of Life. Sobrang daming outplay buttons ng 𝙑𝙑 Esports and they already drafted this lineup in case that situation does come to life. And ayun na nga, when Crony is getting Soul Unbound takes, nawawala na yung dominance at yung kingdom ni Noy. With all of that happening, Archons just needs to play this smartly. They have a scaling trample. Get trample to a funnel situation or else suffer the consequences. So lower your ego and Crony will be meeting their minds here over to the bottom side river, but that's not gonna start an engage. So meanwhile, Amasuo and Pinoy TikTok already getting a pry on the bottom side with no lower your ego guarding down Cardo. So now I think no major objective is open. I don't know why Amasuo and Pinoy TikTok are trying to roam, but I really think that Amasuo and Pinoy TikTok should just capitalize their economy by getting those farms intact. Kasi pwede naman sila mag-disengage ng laban. You have Breath of Life, you have Killer Instinct. So with this recall, I think they're not going for a recall actually. So it's still a balanced game. Very passive nga to say the least.
Tama ka nga naman dyan. Pero, aside from the slight pokes here and there, peaceful tong game natin ngayon. Wala pa masyadong nangyayari. Parang para sa farming stage muna tayo. Pag nagkaroon na ng item, doon na daw sila maglalabaran. Pero nagkaroon nga ng konting nagkasalisihan nga sila dito sa river, si Sky at si XMMR. But aside from that, papunta na ulit siya sa bottom lane. Maghahanap na naman to ng gank. Let's see what's going to happen.
Okay, here comes a shockwave. Nice flash by Crony, but Phaeton Seal will be used as an escape. Here comes Ultra Mega Fire Kick. Displaces lower your ego, but the fight will be disengaged. Grabe nga naman yung warning shots na binabato ng Archon at ng 𝙑𝙑. It's going to be a paranoia now pop as they collapse onto Pinoy TikTok. The breath of life is the death of life of Pinoy TikTok as Archons get a 2-kill lead.
Going to be opening up a dragon angle here for Archons, but there's going to be a fight here on mid.
Here comes Crony. Third stack of the Mortal Steel will be used as escape with Cardo and lower your ego already roaming to the bottom side. Here comes Sean from top going to the bottom side river under 4,000 HP na nga lang ang Dragon Dieter. Here comes Magnet Storm as they want to collapse onto Sky. Hanyol Amasuo is going huge. Can they get the kills over to the enemies of Archons Esports as this is going to be an interesting fight down to the last legs of the Dragon. Still no major objective being taken out here. Here comes Sky Hanyol. Here comes Hostile Takeover. It's a huge ulti. But Sky Hanyol is now down to his last HP bar as Reynaldo gets the Dragon. They are now collapsing onto Trample. It's an easy dubs for it. It's a 5v1. How can Trample survive as XSMR, the Iron Knight, gets it? As Reynaldo, after a huge fight over to the Dragon Pit, they have now equalized the lead.
Massive place there for 𝙑𝙑 Esports. Crazy with the TP in by Sean on the mid, distracting Trample and leading him to his death, while RJE will be securing the second dragon of the match. Archon needs to step up their game here for them to have a fighting chance, because it's not looking good for them.
Okay. Grabe talaga. Crony really wants to go in, but he lost that trade. Tinutulak niya lang talaga si Noy para lumayo. Di na siya makakuha ng eco pa. So, actually, Noy was the one. And actually, kinancel nila yung pareho nilang recall. Grabe. Nagbabasahan lang ng utak tong dalawan to. Now, Sky Hanul and XSM are now back to farming responsibilities. Red will be up. And Amaso will be going to the bottom side. Still no lane swap happening here. They could start and go for mid side. Tapos siya na lang yung mag-bottom side sana para mas malakas yung makukuha ang economy ni Amaso. But no, the top laner will be covering the bottom lane here because they should just let Sean not get kahit wala siya makuhang resources, may outplay bota naman siya. Trample now already roaming to the top side. I think this is going to be a start of an engaged. Nice shattering strike by XSMR. As that cancels out their pursuit. So now Archons and Reynaldo are back into a passive game style.
So after clashes, napapansin natin balik lang sa passive game style, like balik lang back to work. It's just another day for Archon Esports, but that doesn't necessarily equal to being in an advantage because as you can see, RJE is above Gold and the Dragon as well. But Archon Esports did manage to snag a Herald, which in turn gotten them some plates in the process. But I don't think that will be enough.
Uy, grabe. Kahit nag-hostile takeover na si Lower Your Ego, nabuhay pa din si Pinoy TikTok. And that's what? I actually, he didn't even burn Breath of Life. Grabe ang swerte nga naman yung dasal ni Pinoy TikTok. Here comes Paranoia. Where will it land? I think he's going for the mid side. But XSMR is on a good spot right there. But that is now a disengage. Trample now goes into the tower. There is a demolish over to that one. Here comes Trample. Another solo kill potential as he fades away. The minions are not enough to kill down Sean. But either way, they will get the first blood tower brought to you by Trample.
Exciting games here coming in from both teams, but Archons, I think they need to ditch what they've been doing in the past, and what they need to do is step up their game, take some risk, go for some picks if they want a fighting chance against Reynaldo. Because as it stands, it might look as if they are in equal footing, but as
Elevate, evolve, excel.
Legendary.
bigyan mo na agad.
Ikaw na mag-open feeder.
And we are back. I do apologize, dear audience, for that fairly long technical pause as we will be going forward with the game 2. And we need to inform you guys that the Archons... Sige, wait lang. Wala pa pala eh. Wait lang. Actually, Archons did not manage to defeat RJE, and RJE did win the game 1. So we are back here, and let's see what's going to happen in the following moments. As Archons needs to step up their game, they need to fight fire with fire. They need to be as aggressive as RJE is being for them to have a chance at winning, because this all of Archon's hopes and dreams rests in this match. What do you think, Salvatore?
Tawas na nabaliktarin natin yung stream, but let's go back to what is indeed the main topic of the day, the RJE matchup versus Archons. It's really coming into place now on who really is winning the mental warfare. So from what we saw, there was definitely some discrepancies on the lineup of Archons itself. So now that's where they need to step up. They really want to make the Nocturne Orianna work. Do note that there isn't really that coherent counter matchup on the early game, on the early game for the Orianna. So pwede na lang i-prio yun. Then let the Nocturne play itself. Ngayon, hayaan nyo nang pumili ng ibang champions yung Reynaldo and then try to draft it based on what could be the heavy influence on those skirmishes. Doon sila nagkukulang eh. Though maganda talaga yung presensya ni Trample, that's about it. Hindi na siya nag-i-inflate compared to Reynaldo Asildo where every lane is complementing one another. So yun yung nakikita kong win-con for Archons Esports.
I am agreeing with you there, Salvatore. Archon needs to get some risk going on kasi makikita nga natin last game is yung picks nila, walang nakukuha si Nocturne sa paranoia niya dahil nga naman laging pushed ang bot lane to RJE's tower, di niya madadive yun masyado, at kung igagank man niya ang top, wala masyadong merit ang mangyayari dahil si Trample sinosolo kill lang si Sean nung panahon na yun. Yun nga lang, kung igagank niya naman si Crony sa mid, mahirap-hirap din dahil Yone nga siya, mabilis siya mag-disengage. So nahirapan talaga si Nocturne nung last game na yon. At I think Archon Esports is going to have a change in lineup. They're going to need to try to do something new, something surprising for them to have a fighting chance against RGE because nakita naman natin ang aggressiveness, ang objective priority ng RGE from the following clashes na nangyayari sa Dragon Pit. Ang bilis nila Rumespo, nung nagkaroon ng clash sa River, biglang nag-TP in si Sean, nagkaroon sila ng skirmish with Trample at nakuha nila ang kill on Trample, nagbukas na ng DR angle for that team.
There really is so much going on to that fight, and we have to put into notice that there shouldn't be some comfortability ngayon for Archon Esports. They need to go over the drawing board at gumawa ng panibagong plano because clearly what happened on game number 1 shouldn't be repeated coming into this game number 2 matchup where they have their backs against the wall. RJE has the momentum. Kailangan nilang itulak pa yung meron sa kailangan nilang gawin. So now, let's be prepared for the upcoming draft. I really think that when it comes to RJE, their flexibility speaks for itself. So kahit anumang i-draft nila dito, they already have a wide array of champions that can be used as counter matchups. Sa nakita ko kasi kanina, I think that Archons are relying on the ones that they are used to. We have already seen the Kalista and Renata Glass be countered so heavily na sana, para mas safe, pumili na lang sana sila ng engage support because you already have some good util on the Orianna. Kaya sobrang ganda ng kumpiyansa ni Pinoy TikTok pumili ng Milio. So that's been the conversation. So that should be changed for the Archon side.
I think ban-wise, tingin ko mababan nila ang Milio na yun dahil nga naman relying sila sa team fights, kumbaga. Dahil nung last draft, we have a Nocturne Paranoia, we have a Shockwave from Orianna. So, with Milio being on RJE on that game, that holds a much needed advantage on RJE. So, kailangan nila tanggalin yun. Kung di man na ibaban, baka gamitin lang ulit ni RJE ulit yun para ma-counter ang niluluto ng Archons Esports. But the bans are coming in. Same bans as before. But ngayon, binan na ng RJ ang Jax. Ayun yung malaking problema ng RG Esports kanina. Dahil nga pinupugo lang si Sean dun sa top lane. As Jax is a force to be reckoned with. But on the Archons Esports side, there have been a ban on Yone and Yasuo. So tinatarget ulit nila si Crony. In talaga ang ayaw nilang makakuha ulit ng kanyang champions. Ano sa tingin mo, Salvatore?
Indeed, hindi ka nagkakamali doon. The Yone, the Yasuo, and the Akali already being banned here by Archons. That just tells that Crony will be trying to play a control mage possibly. And ngayon, makikita naman natin na Sean has now locked in rel for XSMR, if I'm not mistaken. That could possibly be another deal of a rel jungle. So, ibig sabihin, hindi talaga nila pinaprayo yung mga carries dito just because that Archons Esports, despite them having some limited options in game number 1, kailangan hindi natin sila maliitin sa pwede nilang ibigay doon sa mesa na kung saan pwede pa rin sila makabasa ng pag-counter dito. So, now, the Vi has been picked. There could be a good security here that Aatrox can be picked on the top side, and we could have a good connection between Hanul and Trample to get an Aatrox lead. So now the question is, will they go for a support pick instead? Rahan is open. It's a good disengage to the rel if they manage to get it. Alistar is open, but okay, so I think there was a
Technical
technical
difficulties.
difficulty. So there was a mishap on the pickings. Rest assured, it will be fixed in due time. No, pero sa nakita natin, I think RJE, their comfortability is leading them to go for general bans instead of the pocket picks of the players here. So kung sabihin man natin Ksante yung iba nila, we're not sure that one of them really mains Ksante, but it's just the overall effect of what Ksante brings into the meta. Pero kung titignan mo naman yung binaba ng Archons, it really targets one specific person, and that's Crony. That just leaves so many options. Na-open yung Saya, na-open yung Kai'Sa, na-open yung Wukong. 3 champions that really deliver when it comes to skirmishes. And Feeder, what's your take?
Well, as we can see from, I don't know if that Vi was intentional, but if it is, we're going to see a interesting match if that happens in the actual pickings that's going to happen shortly. But let's say if that Vi is going to be picked, it's going to bring a huge turnaround on Archon's side because Ronaldo has not witnessed a Vi on their games. Oh, so we can expect a buttload of combos that goes into that. Maybe they can single out a single person for Vile's ultimate that is viable. They can also pick an utility, an enchanter for a utility. We can have a Nami Lucian, for example, on the bottom lane for that time-tested combo that has not been failed yet. But let's see if what Archon Esports has in store for us, because they need to bring out those unexpected picks. The mind games is real. Because last game they were played by RGE like a fiddle, but now it's their time for retribution.
Retribution is the name of the game here for Archon Esports, as they should want everything be favorable for them Kasi aayawin mo talaga yung sitwasyon na RJE is reading you like an open book. How many ganks that we have seen na Hanul wanted to go for mid and XSMR was on the right time. It just means that there's so many arguments that could be pointed out. XSMR is reading the pathing of Hanul easily. So on that case, there should be some sort of innovation and a different playstyle that Hanul should play so that when he goes for a gank, there is no reading here. Or is it because that XSMR just really wants to get in onto mid lane so that Crony does not fall off? So because top lane is already on a bit of a slump. Tapos, ang gusto pa nila i-camp si Crony. I think that's what they want. And since XSMR knew that narrative, that's why he was always in the bottom side river. It's reading and it's giving so many points that Archons could use in order to get this game number 2. There's already a chosen path for Sean that he is indeed going to play tanks. And if you let Trample play that sort of playstyle again and go for successful ganks onto Crony, it's easy for Archons to capitalize on that opportunity.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there, Salvatore. Archon needs to target their most powerful player, that being Crony, and cripple him that so bad he can't even walk, to have a chance, because that's essentially a -1. And we are back here with the picks, And we see Archons are now the ones to be picking Kai'Sa. And let's see how RJ Esports counters this. They
Okay,
can
so
go for an engage.
pwede rin eh.
Oh, either
Kasi
way.
either way, if you see that if they did pick Kai'Sa, well, you could argue that you could pick Jin or Ezreal in this one, or are they going back to the Saya? And once again, a lobby disconnection has happened on the side of Archons. And
This is not our night, but the show must go on in slew of the technical difficulties, Salvatore.
well, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. And it's a bit of a struggle for all of us, but do not worry. This struggle is just it's just a present time thing. In the near future, we will be having smooth and buttery streams for all of you. Once again, pasensya na po sa ating mga manonood. Ganun po talaga ang nangyayari dito. We're trying our best to fix every single apparent issue that is present to the broadcast right now. And rest assured that when we go to the grand finals, the grandiest of finals, we can assure you that this won't ever happen again.
You have our word. And as we wait, a word from our sponsors, Infinix Mobile. Gear up and upgrade to perfection by purchasing the new Infinix 𝙧𝙤𝙪 by Infinix Mobile. Capture life in its finest details with its advanced camera system of 50 megapixels and the 2K FPS vlogging camera. Stunning visuals with its 3D curved AMOLED display with 120Hz refresh rate, and experience seamless performance with its up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. Stay in touch with the newest and biggest phones by following the Infinix Mobile FB page. That's fb.com/InfinixPhilippines. Purchase phones through their Shopee link, shopee.ph/Infinix official store, and in every retail store nationwide.
Thank you, Infinix, for a wonderful support for TUP Gear. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to push through such an amazing event that is Ascend Cybersynth. So, with all of this happening, despite so many turmoils, nagagawa pa rin natin itulak si Ascend Cybersynth to the fullest of potentials in order for us to witness the crevices, the corners, the beauty of Gear City nga naman talaga, Feeder. And with now approaching as napapalapit na tayo sa ating picks and bans, I hope the third time is indeed the charm. Sana totoo nga talaga yung naratibo na yun para hindi na tayo makakita ng issues pa, Feeder.
Sim, dapat nga lang smooth sailing na ang mangyayari shortly. Please lang, please. Dahil gusto ko nang makita ng action. Kanina pa ako excited dito makakita ng mangyayari. Ang gagawin, ang retribution ng Archon Esports ay hindi pa tapos dahil meron pa silang fighting chance against Reynaldo Jacinto.
I do hope that one of them really gets the gear going, no? And if you think that it's a bit of a struggle, that Archons are having some lackluster games, hindi. You could just see that when performing, they really are good. You have Trample and Hanul going for objectives. So that means they are not left out on some major positions of the game. So that's really important to see. It's not how Archons plays really lackluster. They're playing tremendous. And I think team fighting is one of their strongest points. But kung titignan naman natin, you have RJE. It's their tournament experience speaks for itself. They could easily read out so many plays. They could easily slow down the pace na favorable para sa kanila.
And they can even get caught Archon Esports off guard with that play on the bottom lane on Lower Your Ego, as that is actually, I think, the kill that gave them the momentum all throughout the game. Once that happened, they were just winning left and right. As much as Hanul wants to gank mid or bot, there's always SMR there to protect them with the counter gank.
Are we going to see another Rel jungle by XSMR? Did pretty well, no, as a support player, and there were so many things that XSMR did deliver, despite not going for the full clear. He's reading off the plays really well, and as a support player, I think he knows the corners and the ins of what it takes to be the person in order to move forward, because hindi siya nag-full clear, where one of the things that should be considered as an engaged jungler is to not full clear and go for some important plays. It's either to burn a summoner or it's either to burn a specific ability para makapag all in yung bot lane or whatever lane the jungler is ganking. So that is a good contribution for XSMR. I think Hanul needs to take notes.
Yeah, yung roaming presence talaga ni XMR nung game na yon is napakalaki dahil after nga niya mag-clear ng red side, dumalo siya sa mid para dong kay Oriana. Ngunit di nga na disrupt niya lang yon at tumuloy siya sa jungle, na red side jungle on Archon side, at kinuha niya yung Raptors at doon na siya umikot papunta sa river dahil alam niyang Nocturne is on his tail. Si Hanul nandun na rin, papunta na sa kanya. Alam nila nangyari kasi dumaan siya sa mid. Yun nga lang, nakuha pa rin nila yung kill nun dahil pinilit ni Archon Esports yung gank dun sa bottom lane na yun. Di ko lang alam kung alam nila nandun si XSMR. Pero pinilit pa rin nila. They tested the waters and they saw the aggressiveness of RJE. And here we go. RGE with the Saya and Rakan duo on the bottom lane, with Archons picking the Trundle, looking like a split pushing match itong strategy ngayon ng Archons Esports. Kasi kung di man nila manalo ang team fight, syempre di naman nila hahayaan si Trundle mag-push lang sa top lane, no? Tingin mo, Salvatore?
They're picking Trundle. They should also go for a side laner, but the Sylas ban is a good one considering they have Magnet Storm and the quickness. Maganda yan kung sakaling piliin ng RJ yung Sylas in order to have some more utils on what they already initially have, because you have Magnet Storm, you have the quickness, you have Feather Storm, tapos pwede mo pa makuha yung hijack na subjugate eh. So engage-wise, RJ Esports have been cancelled out on that potential pick. So finally, Archons Esports, the first ban targeted towards Sean, a Gwen ban para sa RJ Esports. So that is a good one since Archons Esports is not just considering the powerhouse that is Crony. You have Sean that plays a mean Gwen.
At binan na nga rin ang Alistar. So I think RJ is dilabas na ang Azir Archon Esports with that unexpected pick. Pwedeng ma-disrupt ng Emperor's Divide ang formation ng RG Esports kasi malaki nga ang frontline ng RG Esports, at ang plano siguro ng Archons is to disrupt that frontline, to break that wall so that the vulnerable backline will be ripe for the picking. Let's see kung makakapitalize nila ang kanilang picks dahil possible pa magkaroon neto ng problema sa Archon side dahil merong Irelia and a Rise going out. Ano sa tingin mo mangyayari ngayon, Salvatore? Looks to be an interesting match we have in store here.
Where are they getting these picks from? I really think that Sean will be playing Rise. Okay, so it's the battle of wave clearing, and one of the good wave clearing mages that they need is apparently a Rise. Really thought they would try to innovate something else. Probably play a Rumble instead. Kasi maganda rin naman panduel yun. He has the attack speed, he has the DPS, and if you're up against Trundle, that's are the few things that you need. You really have a good early game, pero compared to Trample, he does have lethal tempo and chomp, so that combo is really suited. But Sean, he has displacement. I think he's gonna go face rush in this one and go for the EW combo para ma-displace dito si Trample. But I'm really worried about Noy. Crony once again on his signature champion. And the early game of an Aurelia is not to be messed with. Azir is one of the mages that really has a lackluster early game. As long as he still doesn't have the Nashor's Tooth or even the Liandry's as his first item, which in this case, yun nga yung bubuin niya or even go for a Luden's Tempest. With that, Luden's Tempest is built, doon na magkakaroon ng damage. But either way, kahit bigyan mo pa ng attack speed ngayon, tong si Azir, wala pa rin siyang bawas. So, once again, 𝙑𝙤𝙪 Esports has the early game.
Tama nga naman dahil nga sa recent patches, sa changes ng W ni Azir, binawasan ang kanyang early game potential, ngunit ang kanyang scaling sa late game ayun ang na-boost. So let's see kung aabot nga sa late game ang Archon Esports sa game na to. They need to play around their champions. Trundle needs to push some towers because I think that's their win con here. Scuttle and Trundle on the top lane. They need to push them towers and get at least one member of RG to be distracted in that lane, and they can force a team fight on them when they are weak enough. But RJ's esports team is grabe talaga yung yung draft nila, no? May Rakan, Saya, Rel, ang daming engage potential at disengage potential at that. Ang daming CC, lalo na yung Rise TP, no? Kung isang strategic moon landing lang na mangyayari, pwede mabaliktad ang laro. Cut off guard ang Archon Esports ay yung pwedeng maging trump card ng RGE. Makikita natin yun sa mangyayaring laro shortly.
Really is something else when RJE, if they know that they have the momentum, they are going off the grid in terms of gameplay. And for Archons, I think it's a desperate move for them to put on a Trundle. Di na ako magugulat kung Hullbreaker yung una niyang bubuin dito. But it's one of those good top laners that could be innovated considering that there are no coherent tanks for the side of 𝙑𝙤𝙪 Esports. So that subjugate value is going to skyrocket when this Azir goes 2 items or even their ADC gets a 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. So with all of that being said, Archons Esports, they have the damage already. How is their execution gonna fare compared to 𝙑𝙤𝙪?
Archons already knows what's Ronaldo's esports play style, hyper aggressive. They're the ones that's gonna be the ones to be forcing plays. They're the ones who's actually the ones starting the fights. And I think Archons knows this, and they have thought up of a strategy to counter this. I think they're gonna fight fire with that Azir pick, because if let's say Rel and Rakan engages on them, one Azir ultimate, one Emperor's Divide can break up their formation and wipe the floor of RJ Esports here. But let's see if Archons have a fighting chance, because redemption is in their eyes.
The immortal words of someone, you know. When you have 2 hands, you have a fighting chance, and I hope that Archons does show some prowess and some good overall performance. And if they do, they manage to snag it off, there's going to be hell breaking loose in this fight. So with all of that being set foot into a stage where Reynaldo and Archons are going to battle it out, this is going to be a good sight to see for us, Feeder, because, well, you have a do or die situation. You already have 𝙑𝙤𝙪 who has flying colors on their back. You have Archons Esports that are just crawling their way to the top in order to have that daylight once again. So, aantay na lang natin, how are they going to execute this? Is it going to be a replay, a deja vu moment on what happened in game number 1? Or is the draft going to be the enemy or kalaban na naman ng Archons Esports? But now, ang nakikita naman natin, medyo balance na ilalapat na nila. They have a good disengage comp, and they also have some good range to back it up. You have Azir, that's already good on that side. You also have 𝙑𝙧. So engage-wise, maganda nga na rin talaga.
Tama ka nga naman dyan, Salvatore. Makikita natin sa team sports as we go into the rift is they do have a fighting chance so long as they play with their champs in mind. And we see them here not looking for an invade, but just protecting against an invade, just like last game. Fairly standard. And magi-start ulit sa top side ang no, actually. Papunta na si Rel sa bottom, but Trundle on the top. And Azir as well. Vi will be starting on the red side. Actually, going blue this time. She can 3-camp clear into a gank to bait some sums on bottom lane. She can start wolves into blue, into Gromp, then gank. Or she can even invade if the situation calls for it. What do you think, Salvatore?
So, seen a lane swap here. As XSMR now going back to his original role, which is support. So twice gonna show off a different playstyle compared to XSMR, or is it going to be the same one as well, wherein he's gonna go 3 camps, then possibly a gank on the top side because the engage is really nice. But what is this feeder? A Trundle mid in order to have a different sort of situation, pero nabasa kagad ni Crony at ni Shan. Shan is now going to the mid side, and my goodness, Reynaldo, they're just showing their experience. They're always one step ahead of the competition. And now Noy is gonna have a bit of a power struggle on the top side, knowing na hindi pala magiging effective pre. Kasi ayun no, tinan mo naman, Dancing Blades already hits and Crony goes for level 2. How is Noy gonna play this lane? Meanwhile, Amaso's gonna go flashing away. Cardo gets the first blood. Can he get the second blood? As XSMR needs to run away, and they finally get the double kill as Archon's Esports starts it off.
Archon's popping off on that first 2 kills from the bottom lane as we see Trample coming in as Aurelia flashes out for the disengage, but Trample is able to champ her out, but that will not be enough for the kill as both teams will be buying some items. That was a nice skirmish there by both teams. We see Archons with their aggressiveness this time as they turn the table against RG at that instant. What do you think, Salvatore?
Nicely done for Archon's Esports, but let's put into notice that Trample now burned the flash of Crony. I think that doesn't put anything into a good place, though knowing that Skyhan Newell does have a good early game, I don't think that is the same situation for Noy. Doesn't have the damage, so despite Crony having a discrepancy on the summoner spell, hindi pa rin nila mapapunish to eh. But nice read for Reynaldo Asildo. So now, I think we're going to go for a different playstyle. Sean is now going to run away. Lower your ego. Gonna have to be careful here. And I think Twice is gonna read off a gank as a fear of trample and lower your ego. So it's an even matchup now once again for everybody as Noy needs to be careful.
Kai is on the river as Trample is on the top, but we have a skirmish here on the bottom side river as Lower Ego will be getting out of the situation here. He needs to be wary of that Saya and Rakan combo as Crony will be going into the mid, tipping in the middle lane. As we see here, it'll be quiet, but I think Rakan is looking for an engage here. Or a slight poke. And there comes the engage with the disengage with the nice poke by Saya's feathers, putting Luzandra below half health. But we see Vi strutting her legs, going to farm Gromp and possibly go gank bottom lane.
Okay, now Sean is in a good spot. That's the overload procs are hitting. The Essence Flux is doing also some good damage over to the minions para makapag-wave clear pa siya. And they have now finally denied the top lane side push gameplay of Trample. They really expected that Trample will be having a good early game. But take a look at 𝙑𝙬 level 5 to level 4. But the DPS of 𝙑𝙬 is too good. Here comes a W. Clears out so many minions with the Blade Surge. Gets the final Q. And another auto will do it as 𝙑𝙬 gets a solo kill. Meanwhile, 3 members of Archons are now targeting Dragon here from the bottom side. And still no contest. Here comes Twice roaming into it. Not going to be a follow-up as the bot lane doesn't have any prio on the side of 𝙬𝙪 𝙧𝙤𝙪. Nice trade as they get a solo kill for a Dragon. In this situation, I think 𝙬𝙪 𝙧𝙤𝙪 needs to calm their horses. They are playing passive, but they are not getting punished in this situation, meaning they could still get the lead that they need para maahon pa.
We see Vi here and Rel coming onto the bottom lane. We're gonna see a skirmish possibly here, but I think Vi is going to cook something up on the bushes, and Rel is going to go back to farming. But we shall see a slight trade here for Sean and Trample on the mid, but no major plays has been happening, and Vi will be recalling back to base for that sweet item. As I think Archon's win con here is the Dragon. They need to play that late game for 𝙑𝙑 to scale, because if he gets that 2 items, a Nashor's and a Liandry or a Ludens perhaps, and that will be a play of a game. What do you think, Salvatore?
I really think that Lower Ego and Cardo now finally got their groove. Natutulak na nila si Amasawo, and they're getting this experience lead. That means when a fight starts, eventually Cardo will be getting Killer Instinct compared to Blade Caller. So now that is a good sign for the side of Archons Esports in order to force some situations na alam nilang papabor sa kanila. And Sean is getting some info on the top side. So if they know that Hanul is patting top side, I think they want to trade a possible kill in order to get some positioning over to the Rift Herald.
Na malaking skirmish dito sa middle lane. At papasok na si Rel. At ito na, talagang pinofocus nila si Trample dahil ayaw nilang makapush yan. Pero nakapag-disengage nga siya dahil his team is behind him. And that will be it for that fight. Muntik na dun si Trample.
Yeah. And I think Sean and XSMR is now reading off the play wherein alam nilang walang buhay si Trample dito. They could go for the RH. So now 𝙑𝙑 is level 7. He has Emperor's Divide. So playmaking is going to be good in this one. They've now warded the Tribush, but the Rift Herald is now being started. Sean is still in the mid lane trying to get the prio. But here comes Hanul from the outskirts of the pit. 𝙑𝙬 now goes in, pero wala dito si Sky Hanul. Nice Emperor's Divide to go for the turret, and a Blade Surge will be denying the discrepancy and the division of the Emperor's Divide. So now no ultis from both top laners, as this is going to be a secured Rift Herald. Yes, indeed, for 𝙬𝙪 𝙧𝙤𝙪.
And they will be going back again on the middle lane to stop Trample's business here, as Rakan and Sean will be crossing to halt Trample's advance. They have the Herald, and they have that advantage on top. Might be a possible placement, because we can see that 𝙑𝙑 is having trouble there with 𝙑𝙬 on the Aurelia, because they keep getting poked left and right. Both of them are just exchanging blows, but occasionally 𝙑𝙬 does come up on top. So that's a possible lane to drop the Herald in, as we have a lane swap here. Trample now on the top lane as our 𝙑𝙑 going on the mid. Let's see if Trample fares better against 𝙑𝙬.
Looks like a very passive matchup, but Lower Ego is going for a death push play. 2012 Fnatic S. Here comes Featherstorm to mitigate some damage. Lower Ego is not going to get hit by the Blade Caller, but a nice grand entrance to put him up in the air and say, party tayo dito sa may bottom side. Nice kill by Cardo, and Trample is going for a force diver over to the top side. It's going to be a 2v1. Here comes Sean from the backside, as a nicely tanked tower by Trample is putting him into a punishment by 𝙑𝙬. A 1-for-1 on the top side, and Hanul flashes away for his safety. Nice read by Sean, and now the situation is good for 𝙬𝙪 𝙧𝙤𝙪, but it's going to be better for Archons.
Heals are just being traded off left and right, but as it stands, Archons does have the slight advantage here, as they are ahead in kills. But that doesn't mean Reynaldo Jacinto is behind, as they are doing a pretty good job keeping on Archon's face. As we have a slight skirmish here on the bottom side, we see Rakan going in for the Andres, but we have Red with the flash QW, and with stunning Lisiandri getting the kill for Saya Amasuo with that goal. But we have a skirmish here on mid lane. Flash will be out as Trampo is running for his life. Nice pillar there, but that will not be enough for Trampo to live. That opens up
Nice.
DR for Team Reynaldo Jacinto Esports. Impeccable plays. Holy.
Nice assassination here for Crony para magkaroon pa sila ng kumpiyansa sa pagkuha ng Dragon, Rune Prison. Is Sean going to commit inside of the tower? Meanwhile, ito na si Lower Your Ego. He gets the quickness here. Doesn't get the knock up, but Twice does have back that storm. He doesn't opt to pop it. And Hanul, saan ka papunta? Pre, na-corner ka na ng 4 na miyembro ng Reynaldo Jacinto. In such a good manner, Reynaldo Jacinto managed to cleanly skate off on what could have been a bad situation. Pillar of Ice, what's it gonna do? Absolutely nothing. A good situation here for Reynaldo Jacinto as they have now have the total control of the game.
Misposition there from Sky. Napunta sa gitna nilang 4 at naglakad na lang pabalik kung kaya niya pang mabuhay. Yung nga lang nakuha nga ng kill by RJE. But that's not gonna stop Archons just yet because they are still in the game. But RJE did snag that dragon from them. So I think they are on equal footing now, but leaning more towards RGE's favor. As Trample here is trying to kill that last sliver of health from that mid turret, but unfortunately Crony was there. The presence was too strong.
Ba talaga, may AoE na tong si Archons Esports. Kailangan na nilang gamitin yon. Paikutin na lang nila yung barahan nila para magkaroon tayo ng magandang pagkakataon na kung sakaling maglalaro man ng teamfight tong si Archons Esports, lahat ng gagawin ni Reynaldo Jacinto papalya. Yun yung hinahanap ng Archons Esports eh. Whenever there is a blown ability, let's say a Feather Storm, let's say Vanguard's Edge, yung tipong reverse ng laban. Yun yung makikita dito ni Archons Esports. They have a good Glacial Tomb. They have good Subjugate. Pwede nilang ibaliktad yung mga laban na yun. So now, that's the question that could be possibly answered mayat maya din kasi there's still no team fight ongoing and there's no major objective up. Pero look at the pings. They are trying to ping bottom side river in order to have an advanced positioning for Sky Hanul. Aantayin pa natin talaga yun.
At medyo passive muna ang gameplay ngayon. Wala pa masyadong plays nangyayari sa mapa. Currently, ang bottom lane at ang mid lane ang most favorable gankings dahil nandun si Trample. Pwede siya mag-capitalize on that with the Ryze TPing on the top lane to stop Nui with his advance. But Vice just forming, bottom lane's backing, and Trample is still on working on that middle tower in hopes of breaking them.
Now, it's now 14 minutes into the game. So wala nang value dito yung pag side lane ni Trample, medyo mahirap na. So wala na eh. Kasi bubuhay nyo pa lang yung Ravenous niya. Pero I don't know where this is gonna lead to for Trample. The value of this pick has now gone 6 feet under. So that question wherein hindi pa siya mag-side lane, yes, but now it's a lost cause. Here comes Vanguard's Edge by Crony. Could be a 2v1 as Glacial Tomb, but here comes the Realm Warp. It's going to be a party in the mid-side. 3-man knockout from the Grand Entrance, and a nice Emperor's Divide to separate the members of Reynaldo Jacinto. Magnet Storm putting so much value over to Twice, and as well as Cardo. He is still hitting. The Kaisa is doing so much damage. Here comes Sean with an empowered overload. He is still alive. Nice Catian Ray to get the DPS by Cardo. And Archons, they found the team fight that they wanted.
Crazy Archons with that turnaround by Nui with that Flash Emperor's Divide. knocking everyone up on their socks, completely destroying their formation. But with those kills, RJE did manage to get the bottom tower as a trade-off, as they will be the ones coming out slightly on top of that trade here, as they have managed to snag that turret in lieu of that massive clash that happened on the middle lane.
Walang pumoporma kay Cardo. Nakapwesto pa si Tanggol dahil doon. Here comes Crony, dancing blades over to Trample. Can Crony close the gap using blade surge? Heck yeah, he can. As Crony, hindi pa siya makakapwesto pa ulit. That frozen domain is giving so many things for Trample para makatakas pa siya. So now, it's a passive fight once again. Nung nawala si Crony sa laban na yun, a very potent member of 𝙑𝙤𝙪𝙣𝙑 went away. Wala na silang DPS, wala si 𝗏𝗏𝗡, and wala si Crony. And Sean still doesn't have the items need to have the Essence Flux and Overload to have a good significant damage. Here comes Bolt Breaker. Uy, masyado ka ng forward dito, 𝗏𝗏𝗪𝙣𝙑. And I think it's gonna be a bottom side fight. Here comes a two-man snare. And what a wombo combo by 𝗏𝗏𝗪𝙣𝙑 as Twice is gonna get the Magnet Storm off, but it doesn't have any value. Sean is now focusing onto the side of Cardo. They get the shutdown gold. Finally, a turnaround for 𝙑𝙤𝙪𝙣𝙑. Nice Feather Storm double kill by 𝗏𝗏𝗡. And a third one will be warranted to Crony. As 𝙑𝙤𝙪𝙣𝙑, they got 3 bodies, and Dragon is now on their hands.
Amazing counter engage there by RJE. They got the kill on their first member. Archon got the kill on one of theirs, but they managed to turn them around and absolutely decimate them, opening up a dragon angle here for RJE. But earlier, Trample did manage to get the push on the top side, so that's a nice trade-off, and they are planning to go for mid now, as RJE will be snagging the dragon from Archons.
Huge stuff for 𝙑𝙤𝙪𝙣𝙑, pre. And this is just the start of the fight wherein they're going to be hyper-aggressive. Here comes the fight!
And a disengage. Papasok ko nga ulit si Crony. Sinasayawan na si Lower Your Ego, at dun na nakuha ni Cardo ang kill kay XSMR. Kasi nandito na yung Archons at napapalayo na si Crony, gaining Trample, eating that tower as Shelly will be bumping into it. But we see that Trample is in the middle of enemy lines. As Lancer will be going out.
No.
Trample,
Oh my God, Trample! Oh my God, Trample!
Unexpected. Holy, did you see that, Salvatore?
Grabe.
Grabe yun.
Oh my God, he got struck by a smooth Trample. Nakatakas pa siya sa palagay na yun. Nice value from Archons. They got tower. They managed to pull off Shelly in this situation. So, kahit makuha pa nila yung Emperor of, Disc of the Sun. They got the Disc of the Sun. So, it means that somehow, some way, 𝗏𝗏𝗧 is still having a good game despite the bad early game. He's making up for it.
Tumatayo na yung mga balahibo ko, Salvatore. Grabe, insane plays coming in from both teams. Archon with that amazing play on the middle lane. Si Crony, sinasayawan na si Trample, pero dumating na ang team. But magkakaroon ulit ng bagong clash ito. Emperor's Divide going out, as well as Rise's TP. And Sean will be snagging Sky's
Nice!
head.
Break!
And
Oh
a
my
kill
God!
on 𝗏𝗏𝗧 as well on RGE's side, putting down one of their 2 key players, as Archon will be getting pushed back there. But Trample has been on a roll here, and he will be chomping on Sean as he will get that bottom tower.
Nababaliktad yung mga sitwasyon dito.
Hindi pa rin tapos ang
From
match
Archons
by
Esports. I think it's going to be a start of a fight. Nice 3-man snare by Lower Your Ego. But RJE says, hindi pre, walang-wala yung crowd control nyo kung lahat kayo patay na. What an engage by 𝙑𝙤𝙪𝙣𝙑 with a double kill onto Crony. 𝗏𝗏𝗪𝙣𝙑. Pulis pangalawakan. Kala mo pelikula ng 90s tong si 𝗏𝗏𝗪𝙣𝙑. Here comes Grand Entrance knock up onto 𝗏𝗏𝗪𝗏. Meanwhile, Crony's now focusing onto 𝗏𝗏𝗪𝙣𝙑. Clears the way with Blade. Blade Surge just dancing onto him like it's a performance of a lifetime. Here comes Sean with a Rune Prison. Kulong ka na pre, wala kang pampiyansa. 9-kill lead by 𝙑𝙑 𝙑𝙑 as they eye for Baron.
Holy crap. Yun lang masasabi ko kasi kill after kill after kill after kill. Sunod-sunod. Pumatay man si Archon. Nandito si Crony para patayin din isa sa inyo. At bumalik, nag-TPN si Noy. At pinatay naman si Crony. Pero nandito naman si Sean to finish the job. Grabe talaga. Out for revenge silang lahat. Aggressiveness. With that play in mind, nanalo nga ang RGE. Opening up a Baron angle here. But here comes Archon Esports. Hoping to get the steal on them. Hoping for a play. Getting them off the Baron. And getting them off, they will, as RGE, low on health, low on mana, is forced to go back.
Okay, nice deny by Archons, but that's just the band-aid solution on what this game is going into. Lamang na lamang ang 𝙑𝙑 but stopping Baron isn't going to stop 𝙑𝙑 on their tracks in order to move forward. There is no mid tower. So that means RJE could just get a pry on the top side, clear off some camps, tas mag-force sila ng pick dito and they could easily start Baron. It's a 4v5 after that, and Archons needs a miracle. But if you are Archons, this 4,000 gold lead should be something of a eye-opener. After that misplay over to the mid side, you have to go in side lane. Pero mahirap eh. Crony has teleport, so that means Trample cannot go side lane. Kailangan niya sumama dito. So now this is a bad situation for Archons as Twice needs to pull off a good engage in order for Archons to not get a single footing in this matchup.
Mahirap na mag-side lane si Trample dahil nga sa sinabi mo. So kailangan na talaga mag-group at mag-force ng team fight here dahil si Cardo. At ito na nga mangyayari sa middle lane. TPing in RGE with the grand entrance there by Rockman as Lisandro goes in. Sean gets the kill on Vi. But we have massive Emperor's Divide by Noy there, forcing them on their tower as Archon Esports does kill them. But the damage is too strong. RGE reigns supreme from that clash.
Archons, despite the engage factor that they have, they are no match with Crony. Just blade surging the backline. Realm Warp to instantly go inside from the inhibitor tower. As 𝙑𝙑, they are always one step ahead of the competition. Crony blade surging from the minions to get access to Cardo and lower your ego. A 3-man Emperor's Divide, a 3-man Frozen Tomb. It's still not going to be enough. What a turnaround by 𝙑𝙑. Almost any team would have been punished on that one, but not 𝙑𝙑 Esports.
Nice try though by Archon Esports. That Emperor's Divide got my skin crawling. Salvatore, that's just so good. I thought they were gonna win that, but we have Crony on that Irelia, so it did not pan out the way they wanted to. Getting RGE, getting their inhibitor turret as a result. But we have Archon here starting the dragon, completely bursting it out, and that will be a dragon secured as they are planning to engage on RJE. But RJE is going to TP in as mid and bottom jungle side fights are going to come in. And there comes the quickness. Emperor's Divide for the disengage as Trample is looking for a kill on Sean, and he will be isolated by 5 members. That really didn't pan out. That really didn't pan out what Archon was thinking there. The fight was too fragmented, and RGE was able to capitalize on it, completely decimating them. And I think this is game. Lower your ego. Will he be able to defend against the full force of RJE? Because we have Vi spawning in. There may be hope as they are on their Nexus turret, and Crony kills Sky just like that, a snap of a finger, and he is gone. As they will be TPing out as the full force of Archon is here and alive and well, going to defend against RGE. And we have Twice here trying to get a play on Trample there, but he will be able to live as Amaso gets the skill on Lower Your Ego. That the Disc of the Sun will be being put down for the extra defense, but that will not be enough.
They're just walking over the base of Archons as it's now a fully fledged Reynaldo Asildo Esports. Here comes Storm. It's not going to be tagged by Cardo. As Cardo is now outside of his own base, just watching every single structure known to mankind get destroyed by the hands of Reynaldo Asildo. This is going to be a final fight, no frozen pillar, being pointed out here by Trample as Reynaldo Asildo Esports. Kailangan na nilang umalis dito as Trample is still trying to go for an engage. Twice gets the Raptor. Are they eyeing for Baron? I think they are. Possible 50-50. Do not doubt the potential here of Sky Hanul. It's still a Milo Marathon. Nagtatakbuhan pa rin yung dalawang Reynaldo Asildo at Archons dito as now Archons are now starting the Baron. I don't think this is a good idea for Archons, but it is a desperate move indeed. Here comes the quickness and the 2-man Emperor's Divide, but they caught now. Nice pick by Reynaldo Asildo as the blue is turning red. River goes bloody. Reynaldo Asildo Esports. The daylight was wide open. They got the ace. They got the Baron and potentially the game.
That will be game here with that Rice TPing in. Because of that Baron buff, the Nexus is wide open. Nice try by Archon Esports, but that Baron play is not a good idea as RGE will snag the win from Archon Esports. Reynaldo Jacinto Esports will be going in to the finals. Whew.
Reynaldo Asildo Esports, nothing short of amazing. And what a performance as Crony finally finishing the story. His first finals appearance in Ascend history. Looking to get the trophy for himself. And what a performance indeed by that man. Cannot be stopped. Kahit pa iban nyo 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 pa yung iban nyo kay Crony, walang nakapigil sa kanya sa Archons. GG's to both teams. It's good riddance for the side of Reynaldo Asildo Esports. But Archons Esports, thank you for joining Ascend Cybersynth. You had a blast of a performance from play-in towards playoffs, and you delivered one heck of a series for Reynaldo Asildo Esports.
Gotta say, amazing plays from both teams as well as on Archon Esports. Noise ultimates those Enforced Divide at that critical moment. Every single team fight is really a highlight on Archon's strength as a team. And Trample with that side-splitting Trundle very well be a massive massive plus point for Archon Esports as well. But they did not manage to reign triumphant against RGE. But nice try though, Archon Esports.
That was a splendid performance by both teams, but we just gotta have to hand it over to Reynaldo Asildo Esports and Crony. We did not expect this Rise pick to be really that effective, but they managed to turn things around with that read off by Crony and Sean to know where Trample is heading. Hindi na natin nakita yung pag-sideline ni Trample because it got punished early on by Sean. So they already had this plan go intact. Hindi pa rin talaga nangyari para sa side ng Archons Esports. Either way, congratulations for Reynaldo Asildo as we already now have our first grand finalist for Ascend 2023 Cybersynth, as we will be seeing you guys on the live broadcast sa ating TUP Manila campus. Abang-abangan nyo lang din ang mga balita by heading over to facebook.com/TUPgear for more updates and infos about the spectrum of TUP Gear, the TUP Manila's greatest esports organization, let alone the whole Manila na nga talaga, sabihin ko na nga rin. And that apparently is it for the rest of us here. That has been a pleasure to be casting the game of Reynaldo Asildo alongside with my friend here. Salamat, Feeder. You really had a blast of a performance considering this is your first time casting Ascend History. And now, it is, I think this is now the closing of the chapter for the series of Reynaldo Asildo and Archons Esports. Ang susunod naman is Players with Decisiveness versus Balagbag Esports. And we will be witnessing it. We will be keeping you guys updated on that one.
Not to worry. Ang mangyayaring labanan ng PWD versus Balagbag Esports, we will bring you updates on that as it will not be streamed. But do not worry. Kung sino man mananalo at sino magwawagi ay pupuntang finals, dun nyo makikita ang buong lakas ng both teams ng Rinaldo Jacinto Esports at ng mananalo sa following match natin. Abangan nyo sa December 14, ladies and gentlemen, ang Ascent Cybersynth Grand Final.
But before we do finish this, let's give a proper shout out to all of our viewers here. There were 39 supporters from the start up until the end of the stream. So I'd just like to go ahead and shout out to all the viewers out here na gustong magpa-shoutout. Shoutout na rin kay Raven. Galing na mga shoutcasters sa pakinggan. How does that feel, Feeder? Siguro napakalupit na nga naman yan, sabi ni May dito. Kaya nga parang pang international shoutcasting. And a huge shoutout para kay May. I think she started the stream from the first hour of struggle up until the end. Grabe nga naman talaga. And I think that's about it, Feeder. I'd like you to plug yourself and as well as the ikaw, baka may gusto ka pa sabihin before we do wrap things up.
Special thanks lang sa ating mga sponsors kagaya ng TUP Gear. We would like to extend its gratitude to USG and SPAC for helping this tournament come to life. And because of them, the ride to Gear City is in full effect. This has been Feeder. And that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for coming. And you'll see me in the later stages of the game. GG's, boy! Inuubo na ako nung ang dami nangyayari.
Sabi siya, wag mo na ipilit eh. Kasi wag mo ipilit eh.